everyone. I appreciate you guys taking the time to have a little refresher over what parental rights are in special education. So let's go through some stuff here. So first of all, parental rights, it might seem like it's something new. While it's true that parents are becoming better advocates for their kids because they have more access to information because of the internet, parental rights is absolutely not anything new. In fact, it predates the United States altogether. It's a very Western held belief that parents have rights when it comes to their children's upbringing. First and foremost, you should always just assume the best. We love our kids, we love our students, but not as much as the parents do, and so we should therefore give them the benefit of the doubt that what they want for their child is ultimately what's best for their child. And we should treat all of our parents like their partners. Never should we ever work against them. They know their child best, so it's important that we work really well with them. Parents, of course, have the right to do what they believe is best for their students, and that includes their care, whether that's their physical care, medical, emotional, anything like that. And of course, also their education. They have the right to decide what is best for their student. Parents, the bottom line is students don't have the capacity to make those decisions for themselves, and so they need someone to make those decisions for them, and that's where parents come in. There's lots of people that care about each individual child, but ultimately it is the parents who care the most. Like they are their children. And of course, like we know this, that parental rights, this is upheld by the Supreme Court. So going against what parents say is not at all a good idea from a legal standpoint. So who are parents? According to the state of Kansas, there are several categories of people that fall under the definition of parent. That includes biological parents, foster parents, legal guardians, adoptive parents, people who are acting as a parent. Those are relatives who the child lives with. You just can't get some random person off the street and say that they're an acting parent for this child, and that's not how it works. And then, of course, a legally court-appointed education advocate. Those are parents in Kansas. So in the state of Kansas, which is where we are, parents have the right to be present at all meetings and actively participate in those meetings and help make those decisions in conjunction with all the educators there. And they also have a right to understand the jargon. We all know that there's a lot of legal terms when it comes to IEP meetings, IEP being like one of those little buzzwords there. And they also have a right to be spoken to, be written to in their native language. So if we have some, for example, like some Spanish speakers or maybe a parent who is deaf, they have that right to get the information that they need in a language that they will understand. They also have a right to be notified of meetings in a timely manner, typically in writing. Be involved in the school improvement process, which is KISA, and our school is, of course, in the middle of that process as well. And so some surveys should have been sent out to parents and, of course, to our special education parents as well, specifically for them. And then they, of course, have the right to demand a free and appropriate public education. They have the right to request certain things if they believe that they will help their child, or like request that certain things not be done because it's getting in their child's way of success. Regardless, they have a right to really demand of us that their students are taken care of educationally. So what can we learn from other states? While we are not legally beholden to the laws from other states because we're in Kansas, what they do, we can also learn from. And a lot of this stuff is actually overlap because IDEA is a federal law. A lot of the specifics or like general ideas, I guess, not specifics, but generalities are the same. There's a lot of overlap. Like I said before, prior written notice is required. You can't call them because people forget. If you speak to them, you need to write notice to parents. And consent is required for testing. You can't just start testing a student for special education services without first the parent knowing about it and second them consenting to it. And of course, parents have a right to know any findings or results from any assessments or tests that we might do. And we, of course, should make every single effort possible to engage parents. Parent engagement is the number one reason why students succeed in school. And so, if that's true, then we should do what we can to make sure that those parents are engaged. And of course, our programs must meet state and federal guidelines. If they don't, we are in big trouble. And we should always be searching for guidance. In this era of COVID and online learning, there's a lot of uncertainty, especially when it comes to how can we meet the needs of special education students, because there's a lot of very specific requirements when it comes to their accommodations and things like that. We should just always be looking to the state and to the government for that guidance on what to do. We should never just wing it. We need to come up with a set plan. So, what do parents want in their own words? This comes from Show Me Casey Schools. This is from the Parents' Bill of Rights. There's 11 points, and I've kind of condensed them down into these 3. First, they want clarity and transparency. We need to clearly communicate with them. They want to know about how the school gets their money, where it goes, how it's governed, all the school politics. They deserve to know that. And they also deserve clarity when it comes to expectations and the assessments that are done. Too often, parents have no idea what is expected of their child, and of course, that is not correct. Parents also want access and partnership. They want to work closely with the school as a partner, not as someone who is going to work against the school, but they want to be seen as an equal and respected as an equal. They want to know and be known by the teachers, and they want to be able to have access to that teacher when they need access. Doesn't mean that they're going to call you at 10:30 at night, but if there is an issue, they need to know that they can come to those specific teachers that they need to talk to and work that issue out. And they also want that there be appropriate accommodations made available to their students. Like, students need to be in the least restrictive environment, and they need to know, if a student is blind, they need to know that their assignments are in Braille or if they're read aloud to them, things like that. And finally, they want efficiency. If there is a problem, they need to know that they're not going to be given the runaround on how to solve that problem, that there is a clear plan and a clear path ahead to solve that problem. And then finally, what should we expect from parents? We should expect that parents should send their student to school regularly and ready to learn. Not tired, not hungry, all of that good stuff. We should expect them to show up to school. We can't teach students if they're not at school. We should expect parents that they are aware of their students' progress and what their grades are and how they are doing behaviorally in the classroom. We should expect them to keep up with that. We should expect them to follow all of our school rules, policies, and to be respectful in our school building. They should be able to respond timely to any communications and to make every effort possible to come to any meetings that we might have. And then finally, we should expect parents to avoid making assumptions. When it comes to people's children, they are, of course, very, very touchy and very, very defensive and very, very protective. And it's very easy for them to make assumptions about why we do what we do. But we should expect them to not do that. And to ask questions and get to the root of the matter before they start shaming everyone on Facebook. And these are my references. Of course, if you have any questions, I know that special education can be kind of tricky for a lot of people because there is a lot of legal issues behind it and you have to tread lightly. But if you do have any questions, like, please reach out. It's not worth it to just go in the dark, because that's when we start to mess up. So please ask questions, and thank you for listening.